The cloud is a lie, and it's eating the planet. 7 million square feet. 7 million square feet. That's the size of a single data center campus being built in Nevada. Not a building, a campus bigger than the Pentagon, consuming 650 megawatts of power, more electricity than most small countries. And that's just one facility. This is what the cloud actually looks like. Not weightless, not ethereal, millions of tons of concrete, steel, and silicon, drinking rivers, and demanding nuclear power plants just to keep running. The theology of the machine. Welcome back to the theology of the machine. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the biggest infrastructure lie of the 21st century. In the last video, we exposed the death of Moore's law, how the fundamental physics of silicon has placed a hard ceiling on computing power. The industry can no longer make chips significantly smaller or more efficient. But here's what they don't want you to understand. They haven't stopped trying to grow. They've just changed how they grow. Since they can't scale down, they're scaling out massively, desperately, and the consequences are about to collide with everything we've been promised about a clean, digital future. This video answers the question: what happens when an industry built on miniaturization starts requiring more physical resources than the Industrial Revolution? Who am I? I'm Julian Whatley. I've spent my career in visual persuasion, making the impossible look inevitable, the undesirable look essential, the language of images, the architecture of desire. And what I see happening with the cloud is one of the greatest feats of linguistic misdirection in history. Because they named it the cloud, the word does heavy psychological lifting. It implies weightlessness, transcendence, something above the messy physical world. What a perfect piece of propaganda for hiding the dirtiest industrial operation of the 21st century, the inversion. Let's remember the story we were told. The first computers filled entire rooms. ENIAC, built in 1945, was 1,800 square feet of vacuum tubes, about the size of a two-bedroom tract house, consuming a mere 150 kilowatts of power. Kilowatts, not megawatts. The trajectory of progress was always down, smaller, lighter, more efficient. Room-sized to mainframe, to desktop, to laptop, to smartphone, to Apple Watch, to what? The logical endpoint was computing so small it would be invisible, ubiquitous, woven into the fabric of reality itself. That was the promise. Here's the reality. To train GPT-4, a single AI model required somewhere between 51,000 and 62,000 megawatt hours of energy. We are way, way beyond those measly kilowatts now. That's equivalent to over 1,000 American households' electricity consumption for 6 years. Training GPT-3 consumed roughly 700,000 liters of water, probably clean drinking water, just for cooling. And these numbers aren't shrinking, they're exploding. The demand for data center electricity is projected to double by 2030, reaching over 900 terawatt hours annually. I can't honestly conceive of how much power that actually is, although I'm told that's more than the entire electricity consumption of Japan. We've returned to room-sized computing, except now the room is measured in acres, in city blocks, in industrial zones requiring their own substation. This is what I call the inversion of compute. The 20th century took us from room-sized to pocket-sized. The 21st century is catapulting us from pocket-sized to city-sized. We're not miniaturizing anymore, we're monumentalizing. We're building cathedrals to computation. If this is making the gears turn in your head, you're exactly who this series is for. Subscribe and hit the bell so you catch every video as it drops. And let me know in the comments, were you aware of any of this? Because I certainly wasn't, until I started pulling the threads. Now, let's talk about what this actually means for our future. The hidden costs. You probably know data centers use electricity. You may not know they use water, massive amounts of water, clean drinking water for cooling. These facilities generate so much heat they require industrial-scale evaporative cooling systems, essentially manufactured rain to keep the servers from melting themselves. But surely we're building these data centers in cool climates with abundant water, right? No, we're building them in water-stressed regions across the American Southwest and around the world. Tech companies are cutting deals for water rights that put them in direct competition with agriculture and residential needs. That's right. If you live near a data center, it's taking its water from your local municipality, which means the same companies telling you to take shorter showers are building facilities that drink rivers. And then there's the power. The International Energy Agency projects that global data center electricity demand could reach 1,050 terawatt hours by 2030. That's roughly equivalent to adding another Japan to global electricity demand in 5 years. Where's that power coming from? Not renewables, not at that scale, not that fast. We're talking about reactivating coal plants, building new natural gas facilities. Tech companies are literally signing deals for nuclear reactors to power their AI ambitions. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, all chasing nuclear power because there simply isn't enough clean energy on the planet to feed their appetites. Here's the obscene irony. These are the same companies publishing glossy sustainability reports, the same executives giving TED Talks about saving the planet, the same industry that marketed itself as the clean alternative to dirty manufacturing. This isn't mere propaganda. This is what folks like me in the biz call disinformation. And now they need dedicated nuclear reactors to run their chatbots. Why this matters. So, why is this happening? Why are we building monuments to computation while pretending they're clouds? Because the religion requires it. In the Middle Ages, societies poured unimaginable resources into building cathedrals, decades of labor, fortunes in gold, the best engineering minds of the era. Why? Because the cathedral was where God dwelt. It was the physical manifestation of salvation. Data centers are our cathedrals. They are the physical infrastructure of a new salvation myth. The myth that artificial general intelligence will solve all our problems, that the singularity will arrive and transform the human condition, that if we just build enough computing power, the machine god will awaken. If we believe hard enough, we can make Santa's reindeer fly. Even if the quest for AGI is creating all sorts of horrible problems along the way. And here's what makes this genuinely dangerous. It's not just expensive. It's not just hypocritical. It's competitive with everything else. Every megawatt feeding a GPU cluster is a megawatt not powering homes, hospitals, or actual green technology. Every acre of land dedicated to server farms is an acre not available for housing or agriculture. Every dollar invested in chasing the holy grail of AGI is a dollar not spent on problems we actually know how to solve. We are building the infrastructure of a fantasy at the cost of addressing reality. The new televangelists. But who's selling this fantasy? And why are we so eager to buy it? In the next video, we're going to meet the new televangelists, the men who've turned Silicon Valley into a mega church. We'll examine how Sam Altman operates with the exact same playbook as prosperity gospel preachers, selling an undefined salvation to the faithful. We'll look at Elon Musk's Mars fantasy as escape theology for the 21st century. We'll answer the question, why are the richest most rational people on Earth behaving like medieval cultists. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Subscribe now. The next video drops soon. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you see through the marketing, share it with someone still living in the cloud. I'm Julian Whatley, and remember, every miracle has infrastructure costs.